What happens in the sky affects life down here on Earth. The Celestial Compass shows you how and guides your way with astrology you can use from professional astrologer Kathy Beal. Every episode features her light-hearted, practical forecasts and navigational tips, blended with humor, optimism, and a love of patterns, symbolism, and pop culture references. Kathy translates technicalities into concepts that apply to real life. You'll learn how the current moment ties to where we've been, from the recent past to cycles that last happened years ago, and get a look at where we're heading. And much more, from special topics to special guests. The Celestial Compass, enlightening, entertaining, and empowering. Here's your host, Kathy Beal.
Greetings, Earthlings. I'm Kathy Beal, professional Aquarian, professional astrologer, and host of Celestial Compass. And we are at the brink of a really monumental moment in history. As I talk to you right now, we are on the brink of Pluto moving into Aquarius, where it will be until January 44. Pluto is a planet that brings a lot of things to the surface. It excavates. Every time it changes signs, there is a reallocation and a change in how we experience power. And it is moving into the sign of the collective, some would say of the future, of technology. We've had some tastes of what this will bring in this year and last year, from the end of March to the beginning of June 2023, and from January 20th until September 1, 2024, Pluto lurked at the doorway to Aquarius. And now on the 19th of November, it moves into it. And we will be grappling with major power issues having to do, again, with technology, with building new collectives, building new communities. There is the potential for grassroots lateral interaction, but also the role of technology and wealth in technology potentially trying to get dominance. So these are things to watch for in your own life. Look back at what has been going on these other times I mentioned, and just know that we're in a wild adventure, which will get even wilder next year when the other outer planets change signs and join in the dance with Pluto. This month, we have one more thing I want to alert you to. On the 25th, Mercury, the planet of communication and transportation, begins its final retrograde for the year in the sign of Sagittarius, which has a lot to do with broadcasting, how information flows, our perspectives, our relationship to the legal system, to broadcasting our message to higher education, to people, places, and things that are foreign to us, and to, of course, politics. It will be retrograde from the 25th until the 15th of December. I have a guide at Om Times that describes the potentials of this and some key dates within the transit. So I encourage you to look at how to handle a Mercury retrograde in 2024 at Om Times. And also, as always, my forecasts for every week, every month, and every new and full moon are available at empowermentunlimited.net and at my YouTube channel, Professional Aquarian. And now we're going to shift gears drastically and go into absolute enchantment. My guests today are Amy Zerner and Monte Farber. Since 1988, the husband and wife team have created their family of best-selling spiritual power tools, metaphysical books, and oracles that help you navigate your life path. There are some 3 million copies of their works in print in 18 languages, and that may actually have been updated since I last got their bio. Monty does private readings and teaches ongoing astrology classes. Amy's artistic outpourings include jewelry, couture, and wearable artwork, and a documentary is in the works about them, which we will talk about. Welcome, Amy and Monty.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. So the hardest part is introducing us. That's why the documentary got done.
Well, I love your take on what's happening astrologically. Good explanation.
It definitely is. Pluto is coming into our sign. I'm an Aquarius also.
Yeah, it's hitting me exactly. Okay, we'll see what happens. But let's talk about you two. You two. Now, you have just celebrated 50 years of meeting, 50 years of being together. Congratulations on that. That's a milestone not many people get to have.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, and it's still a pleasure.
It's true. It gets better all the time. Well, the more you understand about life, the more you understand relationships. Astrology really feeds our relationship. I was studying astrology when I met Monte in 1974.
And I was studying Amy, so I learned astrology.
So it's really our language of love. It helps us understand each other. It helps us understand other people. It's so important.
And as we're doing this this recording or this live show, I mean, there's so many oppositions right now in the sky. And once again, the great thing about astrology is it shows you the map. And as Ptolemy said, the stars incline, they do not compel. But right now they incline to be really crazy with a lot of lines of force going against us all. And if we can learn how to ride the wave, we'll do really well. I mean, even the moon is opposite Venus right now. And the sun's opposite Uranus, and Mars is opposite Pluto. I mean, that's a lot of opposition. So we all have to make it work.
I mean, in our life, we do a lot of wellness practices, grounding practices, ways that help you to navigate ups and downs of life. Being freelance artists, all our lives, we know the ups and downs, and you have to have a strong core and a strong grounding and centering to deal with it.
My first book was an astrology book, came out in 1988. Like you said, there's karma cards. A lot of people might actually have this. You might not know we did it, but Karma Cards is an astrology book that teaches you how to learn astrology and answers questions. So astrology has been, like Amy said, our language of love since we met in the 70s.
Do you have a practice? I mean, two freelancers, all right? It's hard enough with one freelancer and trying to find structure in your day. Do you guys have a practice that you follow, or is it every day different? Or is that too personal a question?
I think we like it that every day is different, because I'm an Aries, he's an Aquarius. We like freedom, we like newness, so being entrepreneurs and freelancers, there's always something new. There's always a new project. There's always new manifestations, new challenges, new things to learn. And being a fashion designer, I had to learn that whole industry. Being in the book business, it's an industry unto itself. And being an artist, so we like having control over what we do, but we've been very lucky working with wonderful people in all of those areas.
We have a photograph that sort of sums up who we are. That's our practice.
It's like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah,
it is. Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal is to use everything we learn all the time.
Yes.
And to sort of be in the moment the way you really want to be, like a cat. I mean, the goal is to be like a cat.
Also, the goal is to use the gifts that we've been given. I mean, astrology helps you identify those, your strengths, and learn how to compensate for weaknesses. But I feel I've been given a gift. I kind of inherited my artistic gift from my family. I come from a family of artists, so I feel like it's my job to use that in any way I can.
In the Bible, I think it was St. Paul said, pray without ceasing. And I think that's sort of be grateful all the time. It doesn't mean ask for what you want all the time. It means be grateful and thankful and kind, that's our practice. I think kindness and because everything we do, we think about other people because we know how hard life is. We have a great life, but it's not like we don't have the same problems everybody else does. Starting with the fact that the ride ends at some place, so it's all based on, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and doing what we can. And I guess if I have a practice, my practice is Amy. I love watching her live, and I love being her partner and being supportive of her. Like when she does the art for the Enchanted Tarot or any of the different divination systems that she's done the art for, I describe what's in her art. It's not like she does the art to my words.
It's a collaboration that I think makes our relationship grow all the time, because we're always contemplating how the universe works, or we want to get better at what we do. So, that we challenge ourselves, we challenge each other. I think, it doesn't get stagnant ever because of that.
Right. And since we like to do a lot of things, the joke is like we didn't want to have 9-to-5 jobs, so we ended up with 95 jobs. So we're all, and I think what I'm talking about. I know. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I think the trouble, I guess, one of the little downsides is that people want to put you in a box somehow, and they can't really do that with us because, is she a tarot reader, or is she a fashion designer, or is she, other people want to do that, and I guess I've been guilty of that with some people too. When people cross over categories, right?
Well, we're actually sitting in front of one of Amy's tapestries. This is Atlantia or Poseidia. This is one of the islands of Atlantis. You live on an island now, right? So, and there's the city across the water. Was driving before.
Powered by the crystal.
Powered by the great crystal. So perhaps you might have had that. One of the good things about Pluto is Pluto says, if you transform, I will help you. And so
if you don't,
I will help you. And you never want Pluto to help you transform. No. You want to start the process, and Pluto will help you. You want to ride the wave. You don't want to get crushed by it. So that's the good. Yeah, because I have an early degree of Aquarius sun. So Pluto danced over my sun on my birthday almost. And so I have committed to change. I really have. I'm looking for ways to change without becoming a plutonic Lex Luthor crime lord. You don't want to go for the underworld version of Pluto. You want to go for the highest that you can achieve. Pluto does not like it when you don't live up to your potential. So
plus this age of Aquarius, Kathy, we knew it would be crazy and challenging and revolutionary and radical, but did we know it would be like this?
No. And plus that Pluto-Saturn conjunction, oh my God, that was the pandemic and the paradigm change.
But it's exciting too, the technology. I mean, look what we're doing here. This is like normal now. And if we had thought of that when we were, in the 70s or 80s, it would have blown our minds.
Yeah, but then there was like Dick Tracy with his watch that was a he was ahead of his time, the guy who did that. I mean, because now everyone's looking at their phone the way Dick Tracy used to look at his watch.
Well, to take this back a little bit more to you, how did you come up with the concept of Enchanted? Because you say you're in the enchanted world. Did someone say, I mean, I've been accused of living in a fairy tale. Fine. And so how did you come up with that term?
Well, we did the Enchanted Tarot. I started it in 1989, and we were asked by U.S. Games. We didn't end up doing it with them, but we came up. My work is enchanted. It has fairies and goddesses and goes from heaven to earth. So it seemed like the perfect word. And then we looked into the word, what it actually means, and it means to sing into. So when you sing into something, you enchant it. And we actually do chant all the time in our house.
Yeah, because at the same moment that I was selling karma cards to a book packager named Edison Side Editions, we were at a book fair, and Amy was at that moment meeting Stuart Kaplan of U.S. Games, and he wanted her to do, I forget what it's called, a tarot of something, right? Some like Russian orthodox, some incredible concept. And then he said the wrong thing. He said, and I want to keep all the art. And that was the end of that, because Amy did 78 tapestries, you know, and now the Enchanted Tarot is in, you know, it's sold. It says on the box it sold over 300,000 copies, but it sold close to 1 million, really, because back in the day, the book clubs used to make an incredible amount of stuff. And Amy did fabric collage tapestry. She did 78 of them.
So it's all a mixture of vintage things that I find, combination with painting on fabric, my own technique that I came up with. But doing the 78 pieces for that really made me grow, because all of life is in the tarot, and that's a wonderful project for an artist to immerse themselves in.
She did strength first because she knew she'd need the strength to do the other 77 cards.
Do you do this do you cut your fabric on the floor? Do you lay things out on the floor?
She does, yeah.
That's me working on the floor.
We're actually working on the cover for the new version of the Enchanted Tarot, because it first came out in 1990. That art that's on that box is what Amy's doing in this picture, which is kind of cool. But I mean, we were the first people in the history of
that's us on Home Shopping Network.
Yeah, we're the first people in the history of the world to sell tarot cards on national television.
Well, I got this deck when it first came out, but I bought it at a bookstore.
Oh, thank you.
I still have it. It's in my collection.
Thank you.
I work, going back to how I work very spontaneously, intuitively. I don't sketch. I sort of let the imagery come through me, but I need a lot of stuff. So I use all the stuff that I use as a painter uses paint. So I'm always cutting and piecing and patching, and ultimately it's all sewn together.
Yeah, you don't want Amy to say that she likes your clothing, because she'll be
pull the scissors out.
Yeah, it's just like Pluto, you know, it doesn't play.
Oh my.
She'd like the design behind you. That's really beautiful.
What are you guys working on now? What's your latest project?
The latest,
not the documentary, but like what you're producing.
Yes.
We'll talk about the documentary in a minute.
Calendar. Oh, Inside Editions just came out with a 2025 calendar for those of you who know astrology and follow Kathy, and you'll know that 2025 is going to be an intense year, and you'll have Amy's art for really big. I think it's over here somewhere.
I don't know, but I was going to also, this new company is sort of taking us under their wing. They do Harry Potter, and they do
Back to the Future, Dune,
you know,
Star Wars.
They license big names, and we're their mind, body, spirit people. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool. But our next thing that comes out in February is called the Vision Board Oracle.
With Inside Edition.
And what I love about this, I really give a lot of my collage techniques, because vision boarding anyone can do. You know, you get imagery from magazines and you cut up things. And so it's the first time I've really given my tips about how to do fabric collage and how to do paper collage and make your own vision boards. And there's an oracle deck that comes with it to help guide you to manifest, because that's what it's all about, visualization, and you have to practice that.
And it's also about what you were talking about with Pluto and Aquarius and community, because we've been, for the book, we started doing vision board parties.
So fun.
Oh my God. It was just really wonderful. Of course, they're doing it with Amy, which is like, you know, painting with Salvatore Dali. But when you're with an artist of her caliber, you're free in a way, because you're being guided by someone who can do it from, you know, with her eyes closed almost.
I also think that process helps you identify Monte's technique. He has a 5-step process of manifestation. So really, to identify what you want and what your goal is, sometimes
it's the hardest
very vague.
Hardest one.
It's good to identify it, and then if you pick words and images that strengthen that, and you can change your vision board, you know, as you go along, as you achieve your goals.
They're very powerful, and they bring out the ability to free associate in people, which is the beginning of psychic ability. Once you start to look for the images in your mind that I've trained myself to work from questions
psychically.
Yeah. So if someone comes to me and says, read me, I'm like, well, not really. I mean, do you have a question? As long as it's not a health or a politics question, because I don't want to get into it, especially health. Oh my God. But if someone asks me a question, yes and no is really easy. But a vision board, thinking about what do you want to see every day? It's so powerful with
and why you think you can't have it. I mean, same with doing readings, with oracle cards or the tarot. Just putting the cards on the table helps you to see yourself, to see your habitual way of thinking, your doubts, your fears about what you're asking about, because lots of times we block ourselves that way.
I came up with this concept called quantum affirmations, which is to look at quantum physics techniques and use them to work on manifestation, because I thought to myself, well, consciousness is a smaller particle than light. So therefore, let's see if that has anything to do with manifestation. I'm trying to find the cover. Oh, here we go. So quantum affirmations is all about the first thing is what do you want? And believe it or not, well, you're a reader, when someone comes to you and you say, what do you want? They look at you like, oh my God, because that's the hardest thing. So
or sometimes they think they want to meet somebody, but it's not specific. Why do they want to meet somebody?
Do they not want to be lonely? Do they feel incomplete? It's a whole bunch of stuff. And so the next one is, why didn't you get what you want? And facing that, it's all about, as you know, it's all about facing your fears. And in the tarot, there when you do a Celtic cross reading, there's a position called the hope or the fear. And I never understood it. And one day I realized, wow, what you hope for is something that you don't have. And if you don't have it, it's probably because you're afraid. So getting to deal with your fear is half the battle.
Meanwhile, people are so afraid and so anxious and so stressed now that more than ever, they need spiritual tools and spiritual practices. And I think it's wonderful. A lot of young people now are into the tarot.
Oh my God,
I mean, big time.
Yeah.
That's the age I was. I was like 19 or 20 when I first got into it.
You too. We're all OG people, right? Original gangster astrologers.
I was 15, I think, when I got my first deck.
Oh my God, that's so wonderful.
And already studying astrology, so I was a little weirdo.
Oh, I was 25, so I was late to the party. But like I said, I was studying Amy's. I used to think I was a scientist, and astrology was what you read in the newspapers when there were such things as newspapers. and then when I found out what it really was, I was completely blown away, because it has a lot to do with chaos theory and random number generation. But there's a scientific basis for it. Your astrology chart is a hologram of the subtle energies that existed at the moment you took your first breath. And if you look at it as a hologram, and the transiting planets as waves interacting with other waves, it makes perfect sense. There's a logic to it. And actually, star logic. That's the meaning of astrology. Logos, astro star, logos logic.
Sorry. I think it's a lifelong study, really. I mean, being an astrologer is just like being an artist. You're always honing your skills. You're mastering your skills. You're adding knowledge all the time.
Absolutely. Would you go back? I just want to not drop a thread here. So you do have this new project coming out in February, but tell us again about the calendar.
Oh, so the calendar was first project we did with Inside Editions. It's very big.
Yeah, Amy's going to get it now. I mean, you can practically use it for a sale.
I don't see it.
Because I was resetting up the computer. So.
But my artwork's very large on it, and you get a poster to frame. There's a frameable poster. It's only $20, but every month there's a big tapestry, and Monte has a little guidance on the back of each page. But we love it, and people are buying it. And actually, we were doing a special offer where Monte does a psychic reading if you send the receipt.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of them. I mean, I'm so excited by the calendar because, as you know, astrologically, 2025 is going to be a humdinger, as they say. And
Oh, yeah.
so, and I've been saying that to people. You know, yes, I'm pushing a product that I get, you know, that I has my name on it, and we have a deal, and it's a commercial product. But Amy's art is healing, and it's conceived that way. And I get to live with Amy's real art all the time, and I know how powerful it is. People need this. You know, I want her to be like Maxfield Parrish, the great Maxfield Parrish. At one time, 25% of the people in America had his work hanging up in their house. You know, whether it was the fairies on the swing, which is a very famous image of his, but Amy's work is so strong and so powerful because it is scientific. She represents the subtle energies that exist around us and penetrate us and support us and feed us. It's Einsteinian, her work, but people who don't understand will look at it and say it's beautiful. Well, yeah, truth is beauty, beauty, truth. That's all you need to know. Who said that? I forget who said that. It doesn't matter, but it's true.
Well, you know, as an artist, I have a product for $20 because my original art is expensive. My couture clothes are expensive. So I love to have the range where people can have a book or a deck or an original or a poster.
And I don't know if you can get it on you know, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's called Enchanted Worlds with Amy Zerner 2025 wall calendar. Because the only reason I'm saying that, I don't want to promote. It's just somebody asked.
Right, you can see that. Yeah, wonderful. Well, this is a good spot to take our break. So everyone, hang in. We've got lots more interesting exploration of the enchanted world of Amy and Monte. Hang in there. We'll be back real soon.
Times TV.
Want help with your own celestial compass? Visit my site, empowermentunlimited.net, for Astro Insight forecasts for each week, month, and new and full moon. Want to explore the personal impact? Make a decision? Understand another person? It is possible. Click the Services tab to book a personal session with me. That address again? empowermentunlimited.net.
Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Celestial Compass. We're talking today with Amy Zerner and Monte Farber, who's off screen, but we'll be back in a moment, I am certain. And I have a, oh, here's the calendar. We were talking about the 2025 calendar before the break. You see, it's very large.
It sure is.
And it has one of Amy's art for every single month, and information.
And the art for the cover is actually loose inside it in a pocket, and you can frame all of it actually. Mm-hmm. And Amy's work sells for thousands of dollars, and the calendar is $20 US. I don't know how that translates to Brazilian money, but
Yeah, well, I have thought many times when I've been wandering by the windows at Bergdorf's at Christmas time, I've thought, do I go upstairs and actually see this stuff?
Yes.
Your work is your wearable arts at Bergdorf Goodman, right?
yeah, for
Yes.
over 20 years, Amy's their secret weapon.
So I'm in the evening department, which is a fancy department, but so many interesting people from all over the world go there and buy my pieces, and fascinating women who are philanthropists and do amazing things in the world. So I like to know that they're wearing my clothes.
People who can have anything want Amy, and when they buy one, they collect them. So a lot of people have collections of them. There's one Saudi princess who has like 82 of Amy's caftans, which over a period of years, because they take a while to make.
My
But
goodness.
I know, crazy. And then the woman whose family started Selfridges, she bought it. Amy just sold some to the Goodman family from Bergdorf Goodman.
They're very goddessy clothes.
Yeah.
Things I
They
really
flow really nicely.
yes.
Yeah, they flow very, very nicely. Here's a hard question, and I think I know what the answer to this is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you have a favorite creation or modality, or do you love all your children equally?
Well, we love all the children. I think I'm very attached to the Enchanted Tarot because it was my first baby, and Monte's karma cards were his first baby.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it's very, very hard because we have so many.
It's so depending, why we have so many things are for different purposes. Like we have the Creativity Oracle, which is all about the creative process. There's 80 cards. Those are all our all our babies.
That doesn't even have karma cards in it for some weird reason that I don't even know why. But oh, there's the Astro Clock. I don't know why that's there. Sorry. Okay, there we are. Whoop, no. Don't you just love technology when it works?
Yes, actually, this is fine. It's working. We're talking. We're all on camera.
Right.
I'm happy with very little here. Also, we're about a 3-hour drive apart, so this is magic that I can talk to you without having to get in my car and scoot out to the edge of the island. Let's talk about your documentary. It's been in the works for a couple of years. What's it called?
Yes, it's done. It's in the can. It's called Amy and Monte: A Legacy of Love and Creativity.
It's basically everything we've been talking about. It's how we've grown together, the work that we do, how to follow your dream, how you don't have to do your career or your path in life the way anyone else does. You do it your way, and it doesn't mean you have to be rich and famous either to make your mark and to fulfill your destiny. So it's sort of, for some reason, we have a zillion photographs of us from when we were young because we knew a lot of photographers.
You went to art school. You went to Pratt.
So it's creative and visually, and it shows how I work on a tapestry. It shows Monte was a musician. So that's our first photo together.
This is photographed by the famous photographer Woolworth Photo Booth.
Woolworth Photo Booth.
Yeah, it's very famous.
So the director-producer discovered us online. We had a little show called Ask the Oracles during the pandemic, and she watched us tell her stories, and she got intrigued, what's going on here. And we became fast friends. She's young and she's so creative, and she followed us for like 2 years and interviewed us and all our friends, and we like the way it came out. It's all done.
We love it, and we've seen it 1,000 times, and we feel that it's important for people to be exposed to something that's positive and about love, and about how even in the crazy, crazy times that have happened since the 70s, Amy and I, we just keep going, like the little train that could.
It's a love story, and we get that feedback all the time. It's like, how do you stay together? How you're together all the time? How can you stand each other?
That's a lot of people, and they say, well, how do you get married? How do you stay married for so long? I say, marry her.
That's
because she's a lot of fun.
Well, you have to laugh. You have to have a
Yeah.
good sense of humor.
And plus, like we were talking before about 95 jobs, in the time that Amy and I have been together, she's always been an artist and she's always done things. And one of the things we're really happy about is how we've been able to integrate the art and the books, and that's done well. But when we first met, I was a musician. Actually, I was loading trucks for a hi-fi speaker company and doing music at night. And then I started playing with a robot when we moved out here. I mean, we've done crazy things that we've walked our talk in terms of creativity, because in a lot of ways we think creativity is spirituality, because just like acting is one of the holy sciences, because you imitate the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, in that the Holy Spirit animates us and expresses through us. We feel that creativity is emulating the Holy Spirit, the great mystery, whatever you want to call it, God, goddess. And it seems to work, because that and trying to stay healthy,
it's important,
which is really important. And even if you're on the other side, we have something for that too. The crystals, the crystals. Yeah, and this is our newest talking board. People might know our Psychic Circle, because that's been out since 1990. But the talking board is strange. It's called a talking board, but in the interim, they came out with a new technology and it doesn't have a board. So it sort of rolls up. It's really cool. I don't have a picture of it. But anyway, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you two have a bit of a division of labor, though. That might be part of why things work, because you each do the things dovetail together. They're complementary, but you have your own spheres of authority, I guess, is a way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes Amy will ask me about her art, but she doesn't need me to do art, and you know, I can write.
I edit his writing, so it's very integrated. But it's not like we fight over anything. I think it's very natural. You know, I cook and he does the dishes, and you know, it's not like you tell somebody what to do. I think we fall very naturally into what we're good at.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with our astrology charts. And well,
that you can't tell us what to do.
Well, an Aquarius and an Aries, you know, my moon's in Pisces, so I do care. I'm not the usual Aquarius. No offense, Kathy, I'm not the usual Aquarian robot, but we get the job done. And I'm a Leo rising. You can tell with the hat and the glasses and the whole business. And Amy's a Scorpio rising.
But you know, I do ask him psychic questions all the time. You know, what does he think about this? Am I going to solve that? Or, you know, am I going to find anything at TJ Maxx?
That's the important question. You know, shopping is therapy. There's no two ways about it. No, we're having a good time. You know, in a lot of ways, it comes down to that. I remember Yogananda's teacher said, the goal of the yogi is contentment in all circumstances. Well, I have not attained that goal, but we're having a good time. Yes, we have disappointments. We interact with lawyers every once in a while, so you have to have disappointments. And you have to.
Yeah, I knew this.
And you have to make fun of it, or else, because every time I find that I'm messed up and I'm angry, and you know, you can just feel anger go through you like a poison, it's because I lose my sense of humor. Because if you keep your sense of humor about it, you can deal with it. Dr. Jerry Epstein said, if you don't have a gun to your head, what are you going on about? You know, it's really true. I mean, some people unfortunately do have a gun to their head, but we're not one of them. And plus, we live in a lovely place. We live in the same house Amy grew up in, you know, out here, and we love our house. We fix it up. I'm very handy. You know, I went to Brooklyn Technical High School, so I know how to screw up electricity, plumbing, and carpentry.
As entrepreneurs, how to do everything yourself. I'm always amazed how people, a lot of people don't know how things work. You know, we had to learn how things work, how clothes were made, how books were produced, how it's important. And it's very important to be professional, because sometimes people say, oh, I have a book idea. And we try to show them how to make a proposal, how to be reliable. And people don't want to work with you unless you are professional. And I think that's one reason we've maintained relationships in the different fields that we're involved in.
And as
deliver things on time.
Yeah, that's
don't
a big
give
one.
people a hard time. Don't make yourself a pest.
No, it's so true. We think of everyone as an artist in a different way. It's not like we are the artists. Oh my God, I do wear the beret though. but when we look at our editors and our publishers, they're artists. They're good at what they do, and we respect them and we interact with them. And like Amy said, if you're going to do a book, well, actually, that is the biggest thing that stops people. They say, I want to do a book. And I'm like, well, did you write it? No. Well, okay. When you write it, I think that's when things start happening.
Our creativity oracle addresses all of that.
Yes.
Addresses procrastination, rejection, timing. When people get scared before they finish something, because then after you finish it, you have to do something with it. So sometimes they prevent themselves from actually going over the finish line. Yeah,
because when you finish it, you're going to be judged. And there's a psychic. Sorry.
But there's so much information now. We're so lucky in this crazy Aquarian age where you can access information. You can look up how to make a book proposal. You can look up recipes. I know you're a foodie like me.
Yes.
Here we go. Sorry.
Do you have like projected ideas of what you want to do next? Oh, there's the creativity oracle. Here we go.
Yes, it's the creativity oracle, and it really does help you. It has these cards that have the words right on them, and it comes with a book, a real book with colors, and it has Amy's art on the other side.
There's sort of prompts, as you're going through the different steps of bringing something to fruition. But yes, we are pitching. We're waiting to hear about 3 new projects that we just are pitching to a publisher.
Well, Amy, because
you've done books, so the whole process of doing a book is step by step. You present it. Maybe you get rejected. You change it. You present it somewhere else. We've had things in the drawer for 10 years that maybe we're ahead of their time, and we dust them off and pull them out. And
when we did an astrology cookbook, and then one day, our friend from HarperCollins said, what do you got? And we said, well, we have a cookbook, and she said, I want it.
But we had pitched it maybe 20 years before that. So yeah, you have to. The timing always has to be right, and you don't get upset if the timing isn't right because it's just not meant to be right then. And it's good to be diversified because, if you're concentrating on only one thing that's not working out, you can move over and turn your head and work on this thing. It frees you up.
Right. Yeah, we're working on a bunch of stuff. Amy's actually, because she's an Aries, she jumped the gun and she did the major arcana for the new tarot. They haven't even said yes, but they've said everything except yes. They ask her every question. They want to see the art. They want this. They want that. But we expect them to say yes, and it's going to be
if they don't say yes, we're doing it anyway.
Well,
yeah, you find someone else.
Right.
Well, it's true, and we have great relations with a lot of different publishers. We're excited about Insight because they get all the tentpole movies, and we're their first sort of foray into spirituality. It's quite a compliment. I used to be Michael J. Fox's bodyguard. Now I'm on the publishing house that publishes books based on Back to the Future. So, it's kind of fun. That's in the documentary too, by the way.
It goes back to people believing in you and trusting that you can do something. And I think it's so important in relationships. The trust factor.
Yes. When we did TikTok for the first time, we had like 300 and something thousand people, and most of them said goals or I want you to be our parents, and things like that.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that exposed the
also
age group.
They said I look like Lily Tomlin.
You do not look like Lily Tomlin at all. And that's a conversation ender right there.
It's a stretch.
Yeah. You know who you do look? Remember the actress on the Money Pit who said that you reminded her of her when she was young?
Maureen Staples.
Maureen
No.
Staples. Yeah, I
Is
think
that
you're.
right?
The,
I forget.
Huh.
yeah.
I sort of see that too. I sort of see that too.
And
Are there projects, areas, modes of creativity that you haven't quite wandered into yet that you've been thinking about? I mean, now you've made this documentary. Do you have, oh, I don't know, animation ideas, film ideas?
well, our producer is convinced that once the documentary is sold and shown, that someone's going to want to do a TV show
A
about us.
reality show, but I don't.
We don't want
But
anybody in the
Monte
house.
has a screenplay that I think maybe the time is right, and there's so much. I think I do love the idea of film. It was very intriguing to work with that. So I think you're right. I think you're psychic.
I think you are, and
Cold.
because we have a million stories. The documentary is only an hour. We could have made 100 hours of different stories from all the different crazy times that we've had. But
right, I mean, our phones are cameras. I mean,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was a photographer when I was young in the 70s, and I made my own dark room, and I had to develop it, and these chemicals. I mean, the tools we have are just incredible now.
Yes, yeah, it's very true. I think I probably will sell this stuff because I one of our closest friends is Linda LaPlante, who did Prime Suspect, and she's like the Dick Wolf of England. She has 82 hours of
crime writer,
right, and she's always trying to encourage me. And but the film industry is a very, very difficult industry. I because I worked in it as a location man. I have a lot of friends who are now big time producers, but it's a very rough industry.
It's just like publishing and fashion. And
yeah, I said to one of them, I really like to go with you because I know you're going to rob me, but I know you'll rob me for less than the other people will rob me. Because it's that industry.
But I could see like a slightly sideways avenue. I mean, not Disney or something, but something that has a little more of an edge that allows you to more creative control over what you're doing. I mean, I'm really getting an image of something like the current version of Yellow Submarine. So I don't mean the story. I mean, with all the different styles of visualization.
With AI, that's probably the way to do it because I did write a script in the 70s that takes place in the Brazilian rainforest and in Brazil.
A rock and roll band.
With a rock and roll band. And I have all the music. I have it all done.
See, Kathy?
Kathy, you're on the money. I think we have an executive producer credit coming. And with AI, Tyler Perry was going to build 8 studios in Atlanta, and he decided not to because AI, you don't need a studio anymore. You tell the AI what you want.
You say, I want someone walking through a sandstorm, and you don't have to go on location. It will make the sandstorm.
Right. So perhaps by the time our documentary comes out and people will, one of the reasons that we get our book deals is we have a track record and we have a platform and they come to us. So once we have a documentary and if it's done well, then everybody wants to be your friend. And then perhaps we'll be in the position to sell it.
Has it been shown at any festivals, your documentary? No public screening?
We just got permission for the last clip yesterday.
The producer's going to start pitching it probably in the new year because nobody wants to work during the holidays, right?
Right, and she's already sold 2 features that she produced for the Japanese, based on Japanese video games. They were horror movies, and now us. It's just it's exactly like Inside Editions, completely different to what we should have the guys from Monty Python going. And now for something completely different.
And that might be workable. A couple of them are still around. So, all right. So that's, we may be hearing about some screenings with any luck next year. And so, I mean, what else? Do you ever have downtime? Is there something you do just for fun? Or is everything so fun?
We call it sleep.
We do, we do a lot of wellness practices. We massage, we relax, we watch murder mysteries. I think, being an astrologer is like being detective, right?
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
figure things out. So I think that's why we like mysteries.
Because you have to go deep.
Right.
Yeah, we're watching our friend Linda's show called Trial and Retribution. It's a little bit too good.
It's from the 90s, but
it's
really holds up.
It holds up incredibly well, even though it doesn't have cell phones and computers.
Our downtime, we like to see good art, whether it's good movies, good art in a museum.
We are getting the really good computers now. So and the newest one we got has the M4 chip, which I know they're going to use for AI. So maybe we will be able to do some kind of AI stuff.
And Monte's just bought 2 new guitars, so he's picking up
Yes.
his music again.
Yeah, I used to make my living as a session bass player. I would go into, recording studios and play on commercials and God knows what. And that's how I made, and I had a band. But when the books started doing well, because the music industry was okay but difficult, but books publishing just opened up. My Karma cards, I was able to sell it in a magical way. I met these people at the book fair, and I saw these people. They had done the Book of Runes, which I knew about, by Ralph Blum, and they did Miss Green's first tarot. And I said to them, they were from England, and I said, I have an astrology card game that tells the future. They said, well, let's play it. And we played it, and they got a great answer. I said, this is a great answer. You can see that right here because it makes sentences, karma cards. I said, what did you ask? He said, I asked if we should do your publisher. And we shook hands, and that was it. And karma cards is now around the world in 16 of the 18 languages that you were describing before. It just came out in Taiwanese Chinese, and I can't get a copy no matter what I do. I'm going to have to go to Taiwan to get a copy. But it changed my life, and doing it without computers rewired my brain, which is why I think I got psychic, because I had to look at every planet sign and house and make a 6-sentence fragments for each one that made sense. Yeah, so that sort of rewired it. And then the tarot came out, and that was great. We've been very lucky. When Karma cards came out,
she asked you if you had downtime.
This is my downtime. There's either writing about it, or talking about it. Well, do you have downtime? I've never seen you. Amy makes art when she's happy, and she makes art when she's sad.
Our work is our play, and our play is our work, I guess.
And you have a good network of people out where you are. I mean, you have friends, you have a community. You're always posting photos of you're in this gallery, going to this event, having dinner with these friends, and that seems to be real important. Maintaining, you're not just in your little enchanted world, being all by yourself.
Yeah,
No, it's an artist community where we live. I just had a show open 2 days ago. It was so nice to see everybody, and I think the openings out here really bring people together.
And we're going to have dinner tonight with our friend Simon and his wife Maria, and he is the drummer for Bad Company. So I still keep my oar in with the music business. I know a lot of people from the music business. People on that level, thank God. There's not too many drummers on his level. I mean, he played drums when Ringo Starr went out. Ringo asked him to play drums in his band. So you can imagine what kind of drummer he is. He's really good. One of the things that we're the most proud of is Amy's art book, which has everything in it. I wanted to show it because this is her studio. This is the size of the work that she does. It's big. She does some really big work and small work.
It's not always that neat, for sure.
And that's our downtime, actually. But yeah, downtime. We don't take vacations. If we want to go to the beach, we can drive to the beach. It's a 10-minute drive. It's a 10-minute walk to the bay. We love it where we live. We love our house, and we've worked really hard to make it the place we want to be. The first rule of warfare is make your base secure.
That's my message. Yeah.
And with that, I am going to thank you for taking the time to show so many of your creations and to sit and chat. It's always wonderful to talk with you. And I was really happy just to have something free form this time, because I think the last time we talked, you had a specific project you were talking about. So this is wonderful. I thank you. I wish you great success. I look forward to seeing what you release next year.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll be
Kathy.
watching,
was
and I hope
fun.
you'll come back with when you've got new stuff.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
Amy.
Thank
And
you.
everybody else, remember, my forecasts are at omtimes.com and also my site, empowermentunlimited.net. And my YouTube channel is Professional Aquarian. So let's all walk through the doorway, we have no choice, of Pluto and Aquarius and see what new connections, new ways of being, new uses of technology, new expressions of power. First and foremost, step into your own. How's that for a
Good.
final thought? Anyway, thank you very, very much again, Amy and Monte.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.